Welcome back once again to the Necro Zoo. I am Bones. And in this one, let's go ahead and continue our Dark Knight Trilogy wave from McFarlane's DC Multiverse collection. Now we are working our way towards building our Bane figure. We will get to that, but today it will be the Joker. Now, of course, the Joker played by Heath Ledger in the film. He did give off a creepy, sinister vibe that I did like from The Dark Knight. And he is a version of this character that a lot of companies have released figures on, but now we do have a version from McFarlane. Now, he does look pretty serious in the packaging, but let's go ahead and take a closer look at him. But first, he does come with your standard black DC Multiverse stand. Now, these are not really needed, but sometimes they do come in useful. He also comes with his data file card. On the front, you do have a promotional image from the film, that Why So Serious, that was used a lot. I think this was also a poster. I actually own this poster, I think, but it is in storage. And on the back, you do have some information. Kind of a standard Joker bio, so doesn't necessarily give us any clues on the Joker from the film. Pretty cool. Now, he really only comes with one accessory, which is this big pile of money. Pretty cool. It has a little peg in it, I guess, where you could stand him in front of it. But I'm pretty sure a lot of people will be using this like in their toy photography and stuff like that. Pretty cool little accessory. And then he does come also with all the hands for your Bane collect-to-build figure. You got a fist in there. You have a kind of gesturing hand and then a trigger finger hand. So you do have your three different versions. So that's pretty cool when we build our Bane figure. And then it also comes with the head. Pretty interesting. Now, not too much detail on this, but when I do my review of the Bane, I will be doing a little bit of repainting on him. So I'm looking forward to working on that. But let's go ahead and take a closer look at him. Now, first impressions. Kind of dark color scheme on him. Like, it looks a little bit grimy, like not too colorful or anything like that. It does take that from the film, but there are some parts of the costume, like they had a little bit of yellow or like shinier colors that I might be adding myself. But for what it is, pretty cool representation of the Joker from The Dark Knight. Now, I do own the old school Mattel version, and you know, this one, if you put them side by side, this one is pretty much obsolete. Little baby figure compared to, you know, a more sophisticated version of this same character. And honestly, if you look at the old Mattel one, that face sculpt does not look like Heath Ledger at all in any way, shape, or form. But I never heard people really complaining about that. Had this figure in my collection for a long time. One thing I did do when I put him away is inside the coat, I stashed away his knife that he came with because it was so small. But it does fit in his hand. And I just didn't want to lose it, so I like tucked it underneath the breast of his jacket. But he still has it. Still a cool figure to have in the collection. But now we're moving on to, you know, a more modern take. Let's take a look at the head sculpt. Now, speaking of having a resemblance to the actor, I mean, it's there, like in certain shots or something, you could see it. It's not completely 100% there. I don't know if really any of the head sculpts can look exactly like the actor and you have to pay rights or something like that. So it can be close without necessarily being like the exact resemblance. So that is a little iffy. It does do the job. It's not a big deal. If you just see him on your shelf representing the Dark Knight Joker, it does work. You do have a little bit of like scarring on the sides of the mouth, which was different from the comics. You know, in the comics, he has a permanent smile and his skin is bleached white and his hair is, you know, colored green. And this guy more like wore makeup and colored his hair. So, I mean, it's not a true representation of the comics, but usually in film adaptations, they never are. Let's take a look at the articulation. He can look down pretty well. Now, it's kind of hard to get him to look up. I mean, you could force it, but it's still not going to go all the way. But that is because of the hair in the back. Now, I can mod this, and I may do that and show you guys, you know, when I do my Bane review, that he could look up a little bit better. But for right now, I'll just leave it like that. You do have right to left. And you can tilt his head for some evil attitude, so that's pretty nice. All in all, pretty cool. I mean, he does have the suit body and everything. You could see all the little details in the vest and all that. I just think it's missing a little bit of like gold or yellow and stuff like that, so I might look into painting that. Let's take a look at the waist articulation. You do have side to side. You have that full tilt-a-whirl at the waist. You do have a lower waist swivel, but you have no upper chest swivel, and of course it is, you know, it is hollow in there, but that does add a little bit to the articulation. You can twist him, put him in some action poses, and then of course now he has, you know, some crunch due to the hollow midsection. And then he can lean back very well. Pretty cool. Let's take a look at the shoulders. Same thing, there is no McFarlane bushing in the shoulder joint, but that doesn't take away from the range. He has a lot of movement, and the jacket kind of forms itself around the shoulder. So you still get a lot of movement. You got up and down, front to back, bicep swivel, and then double jointed elbows. Look pretty good. Now, actually, when you come down from the shoulder going down to the cuff, it has a little bit of grain. It's just very, very slight, but you can see a little bit of, I would say, leather or jacket grain on the suit, on the sleeve, and then you go down into the hand. Now, they gave him a fist on this left hand, and I would have given him, another gripping hand or an open hand, but I don't really think the fist works with the Joker, but it's fine. I can always find another hand and like paint it. So I mean, it doesn't really have any texture or anything, so it's just a regular fist. So I mean, we might be able to change the hand on that, but you still get the wrist articulation, swivel, and then hinge the other way. So pretty cool. On the other side, the same thing, but this one does have a pistol gripping hand, even though he does, of course, not come with any weapons. Thank you, Warner Brothers. You can get him in a T-pose. Not much more than that, but you can move his arms above his head, and then using all the articulation, you can get his arms behind his head. Pretty cool. Pretty nice for some interesting poses. Let's move down to the thighs. Now, he does have some thigh swivel there. Of course, if you heat these up, you could get a little bit more out of them. But if you just move it slightly, you can see the full range at the hip. And that does move the shoe from left to right. You can kick up pretty high and also kick back pretty high. Now, don't be afraid, because the rubber in the trunks is made to move like this. And when you put them back, they go back to their original form. Cock out his knee. He does have that McFarlane hip swivel. Double jointed knees. Look pretty good. Straighten them out. You got up. You don't have too much up at the ankle, but you do have down. Kind of like a human foot. You got right to left, rocker, horse toe articulation. Now these slacks are not the same as the Scarecrow or Harvey Dent. They are their own sculpt. They have a lot more like wrinkles in the pants part, and they do still have kind of a pinstripe design or sculpt. So they are different from the other two figures. Pretty interesting, pretty nice that McFarlane goes that extra step. And you do have those kind of like dress Charleston shoes. Pretty cool. Take a look at them from the bottom. No tread and no identifying marks. Moving up the back, I mean, has the same cool sculpt work. You can see where that chain connects to his hip. And then the jacket, of course, is pretty long. And it does have, you know, it's kind of hard to see, but it does have a like a cool little grain, kind of like faux leather grain on it. So the added detail is always appreciated. So all in all, he's a cool figure. Now, we know he does not come with any weapons, but you can, you know, add some. I do have, you could add like a knife. You could add a grenade. Now, this gun, it's actually like a semi-automatic that comes with the Mattel like signature Joker. But I actually use that to make a custom Fleck Joker from the Joker movie. So I never really had him as Heath Ledger's Joker, but I wasn't really a big fan of that, you know, that figure, that head sculpt and all that, so I didn't have a problem doing that. But this gun it does fit in his hand, but it is kind of small to what it's supposed to represent, like in, you know, as an actual firearm, because it's more like of a two-handed weapon. But it looks okay, but I might just look to ordering one of these online, like a bigger version, so that's probably something I'll look into doing. But in the film, he does have a kind of like a modified Glock that has a custom chrome like upper slide, but it has an extended clip. So that is like a, you know, signature firearm for the Joker in the film. He does use it like in the bank heist and all that. But I just modified a gun that I had laying around just to, you know, get the idea of him, you know, with a handgun. So basically you could have a lot of fun with him. Of course, you can also bring out the McFarlane bazooka, but that is why I was lamenting the fact that they gave him a fist, because he would need both hands to actually grip this bazooka. But I mean, with the gun, he looks pretty good. I just might look, you know, online to get him a more fitting weapon. But I'm pretty happy with him. Stands perfectly. He is gonna look good up on the shelf. Pretty cool representation of the Joker from The Dark Knight. But you guys keep hunting out there, keep collecting, keep customizing, and I will see you on the next one.
They used to call me Crazy Joe, but now they can call me Batman.